Hello everybody, AOG Gaming here, back with another video on Dislyte. I've been posting a lot of Dislyte recently, I do apologize. It's really the only thing I can do right now. Um, well, that's not true, but I'm kind of busy, and Dislyte's the one I can make the quickest videos about, so that's why it's a little bit easier for me. Even if the videos are long, they're much easier for me to talk about them because I play the game pretty often. Same with the other games, but I feel like Dislyte, it's a much easier to pick up and play game. Whereas other games, there's a lot of content that you have to stay in, and it requires you to focus and sit down for like a few hours and do this. Dislyte does have some content like that, but it's mostly about wave clearing and blitzing, which you can just leave your phone on the side and it'll do it. But some games you kind of have to tap and it won't do anything unless you touch the screen. So that's why it's a little harder to progress in those games and make videos because I have to wait till I progress and till I have enough time to actually sit down and do the content. So just wanted to explain that. Anyway, Leora, um, we are making more videos, so that should be a good thing for everyone because we'll keep releasing more and more videos as we can. We are going back to school next week, so we'll see how that happens. Well, school more like what was it? What did they call it? Open university. Yeah, it's like what happens when you drop out and you want to get back in. Basically, you just raise your GPA. And really, it was just mental issues for me. I'm not a stupid person whatsoever, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I just was not like I could literally physically could not put any effort. I was so burnt out and dead, and the pandemic really did not help. So yeah, school kind of just died. Like it wasn't even on my mind. It was on my mind, but it was more of a stress factor, and I kind of just tried to ignore it because it I didn't need that. Somehow I was still able to get through freshman and sophomore without dropping out, and then well, junior year kind of was the nail in the coffin. But I think 2 years and I can still graduate because I have like half the credits I need basically, a little bit more. So I just do some classes. I do some summer and winter classes, and I should be fine. But yeah, I just wanted to explain that because you guys know I haven't been posting other videos, and also I've been explaining to you guys just my situation. But I haven't been trying to complain. Try not to seem like I'm complaining because there are people who are in way worse situations, and while I may be broke, have no job, unemployed, and college dropout, at least I have a phone. You always try and find a caveat to see something that's nice and helpful. Um, yeah, I mean, I definitely have improved, and I think I'm probably at a point where I can actually start with my life. Like I was working this summer, and I definitely this summer was a wake up call for me. Not just a wake up call, but kind of just like a slap in the face, like wake up. Which I guess is kind of like a wake up call, but it was more like putting me out of trance. Like I knew I was in the trance, but I couldn't get out, and then I got slapped in the face, and I woke up. So yeah, just getting that out of the way. Kind of weird intro. I do apologize, but just explaining my situation and why my videos haven't been rolling out as much um, last week and the during the summer. All right, and just in general. So here we go. We have Leora. Um, So it's basically a Leora showcase. I just got a resonance on her, like literally just did a 10 draw. She's R1. R2 doesn't matter really. It does enable you to mitigate a lot more damage. So the thing that sucks about Leora is they didn't do her resonances like proper justice. I feel like they rushed her. Elaine, they did a lot better job at building her. Um, so let's go over both of them real quick. So actually, let's do Elaine first because she is actually much higher resonance, but she's also um, the free Esper that everybody got. So this is the one that most people will have. So her R2, Night Raid has a chance of ignoring some defense when attacking enemies without sleep. The chance increases to 100% when attacking enemies with sleep. So very broken because she inflicts sleep before she hits usually. So she's going to deal an insane amount of damage because defense is a thing in this game, especially for tanks. Against tanks, she will melt their health. It is insane. And then she puts them to sleep, so then they just don't take their turn. Of course, it sucks when you have AoE or you're not single target your entire team. So yeah, or you're not specifically going a strategy where sleep is good. So it can be basically like a pseudo stun. Uh, and her R4 is basically the same, is little actually exactly the same as Leora's, Athena's. For every enemy this Esper kills, gains crit damage, 15%, max 45%, effective in subsequent rounds. So very good, broken on both Elaine and Athena. I feel like Elaine, it's a little bit, well, I don't know, because it's much easier to boost it on Athena, Leora, because she's wave clearing. She has an AoE attack. Um, and then she has two single targets that deal a lot of damage. Especially her second skill, they just deal an ridiculous amount of single target damage. So she can wave clear all the minions, and then for all the tanky units she can take out. And Leora, sorry, no, Elaine, Nyx, this character, she can only single target hit, so it's going to be much harder for her to get these, but it'll be much more effective on her because she's going to be dealing a lot more hits. And the crit damage multiplies per hit because it's it categorizes per hit. So the attack will do however much damage per hit, and then the crit damage will be added on top of that per hit. So it's much more. Elaine benefits much from it. Leora is a lot easier to use, so she seems like she benefits more from it. But if you build Elaine really strong, really broken. But I will say you can pretty much build them the same. And I will say Leora is definitely the better of the two when it comes to every type of content you can use them against. For boss battles, I definitely say uh, Elaine is definitely the way to go because she has the strip. She strips debuffs off your team and transfer this to the enemy boss, basically. If you're targeting the enemy boss, so very broken, very good. Because now, if they're doing defense breaks and attack down on your team, or basically anything that's mitigating your damage, your ability to mitigate damage, is transferred to the boss, and anything that is dealing damage to you is transferred to the boss. So very good. Of course, stuns and incapacitations don't work, but it does work when you're not fighting bosses. So it's kind of good against some PVE contents, but definitely Leora is the best, which is why we're going to showcase her. But yeah, and then obviously both of them gain their like respective buffs. So Elaine will gain Night Goddess, which is definitely better than Leora's, so much better. And it's really to do with the resonances. So Elaine, she sorry, what was I gonna say? I just brain farted. Yeah, sorry. So um, none of her resonances will contradict anything of her abilities, and her passive Night Goddess will give her stealth at the end of her turn and transfer one debuff from each ally to the target upon a crit, which you will probably have 100% crit, or at least 98% like I have on her. Close to 80% at least. And then the enemy miss rate plus 10. So this is very good with Leon because now you have a 35% miss rate. You land one miss rate proc on the enemy, and they're basically just going to miss all the time. And if they have elemental disadvantage, way worse for them. Um, so Athena, Leora, is a little bit different because you don't have to put any skills into her at R0, and you don't really have to because she cycles through her skills finding, I mean, 5 turns and 4 turns. It's fine because she's going to be inflicting a lot of sears and AP control, with her basic skills. So you might want to put Avatar on her just so that she does a little bit more if you don't put any skills into her. If you do, it's a 4 turn rotation and then a 3 turn rotation. So it's a very, very decent. Um, and if you're using both of them, then this second skill will actually be a lot more useful when you have it maxed out because she'll be able to rotate back to it while still having War Goddess. If she doesn't have R6, that is, because she'll have War Goddess. Anyway, shut up, Leora. I don't give up. um, and her passive is she gets more damage, so it's very good for dealing damage and wave clearing. But um, she grants ally shield for 1 turn right before they take a critical hit. That's pretty much useless when you see that her ultimate gives the enemy's crit rate down by 30%. So I really think that should have been a defense break because that would have been a lot better for Leora. She would have basically been another Gaius, but without the transformation and less AoE and a little bit less support, I would say. But yeah, the crit rate down, it really doesn't help her because she wants the enemy to crit so that you can give a shield to your team. So she does have damage mitigation, but it seems redundant because she has it on her basic and her just as a buff she does the crit rate down. So then it decreases the ability for this to work. So really stupid. And her resonance, they basically just shat on it on the R2. So she sucks at R2. She's an R6 Esper, 100%. R4 at the bare minimum, both Leora and Elaine. At the bare minimum, R4 because now they can gain crit damage, and this is much more helpful with Elaine. With Leora Athena because she can reset her cooldown, so she will always get that AOE crit damage, and will always be invincible, so she can survive. But yeah, they're definitely R6 because then you don't need to use them together, and they will just do what they do best, especially Elaine, because Elaine Nyx, the miss rate is so powerful and the buff cleanse is really powerful as well. Leora is definitely better at dealing damage faster and more consistent than Leora. I mean, Nyx, Elaine. I keep mixing their names up. So she's definitely a lot better, which is why they definitely made her a pay to get Esper rather than a free Esper. But Elaine's passiveness, when you increase it with a lot of other support characters, really broken. Like you just get Leon and you have a passive 35% buff most of the time. Like that in itself is just ridiculous because then you take into account type advantage and you can go into PvP with that setup. Like it's really that broken. It's ridiculous. And then you have Hilda and Elaine sleep and poison and deal damage and just destroy the enemy team. That's pretty much it. Um, Yeah, and then Athena will just wave clear like that. That's pretty much all she's really good at. So she's really good at PVE. PvP, she's decent because she has standoff and invincibility for 2 turns. Standoff is only 1 turn, but she gives it to your entire team, so very good. And she increases her own War Goddess buff itself, so she mitigates damage and increases her own damage. So very good, very powerful. Um, she's not another guy's though, but here, I'm starting at Sonic Rift 12 because I think this is the best content she's for. The reason I say this is she's useless really on my account. I don't really use her anymore. She's very useful at the beginning for wave clearing, but she really is not that useful. She's useful in certain content where there's a lot of waves, like 3 waves or 5 waves. So this content, Sonic Rift or boss waves, because she'll just give the standoff to your to your allies. And when you do boss con, you usually do speed clear anyway, because that's unfortunately the meta of the game. I really hate how that's the meta. It makes the game so much worse. And um, you're going to be able to cycle to her second skill. So she's going to be able to give the standoff, hopefully, before any enemy takes their turn and before your teammates die and use up and take their turn so that they lose the buff. But yeah, so I'm using Sonic 12 because that was the standard before. That was how you grinded a lot of EXP for your characters, specifically the experiments. But it doesn't matter now because we have other content. But it's much harder because there's, of course, the characters that have the shield, which grants immunity against two attacks, um, and then five, I think, for these rounds, but two for 12. So we go for 12. Actually, I think it's you, right? No, then it's you. Okay, one of the characters. I forgot which character it was. Uh, yeah, whatever. So Leora can do this all by herself. Easy. So here, we're just gonna blitz it. Oh wait, no, we can't blitz it. Sorry. We'll just do a battle fine. And we just leave it on AI because it doesn't matter. It's one character. We gave her Avatara, and she has enough crit rate to basically clear the wave. So first, we'll just show you what you can do. So cooldown reset. She's gonna spam the AOE. That's pretty much it. And then her second skill, and her basic really only comes out when at the end when the enemy just has way too much HP to kill in one turn, or when they get those shields and they mitigate the damage of the AOE. Which sucks, but it is what it is. But yeah, here she has enough speed and everything to just demolish. And then there she goes with her basic with Avatara, and then yeah, boom, done. All by herself. How many turns did it take? 5 turns or 14 turns, sorry. My record is 5 turns, which I'm very confused about how that works. I think I gave her a lot of damage, so because it's a 5 turn, so it's 5 waves, so she cooldown resets and then does her AOE many times. Oh, I know what I did. Okay. Oh wait, no, because I didn't have that. So I think I had a. If you have a passive character, so if you have Pan at R2, really good because now you put him on the team. He gives your entire team at the beginning. You don't need to build him whatsoever. You just need him on the team R2, so he gives your team crit damage and speed. You give Aura enough speed so that she can go before the enemy, and then wave clear because he'll give crit damage, speed, and actually, I guess you don't need a lot of speed on her, so you can give her more crit damage and attack. So very broken. So if I had her R2, it wouldn't matter because the crit rate down is really the detriment to her. I feel like they should have made Athena free because Leora. Sorry, I feel like they should have made Athena Leora free because Elaine Nix is a lot more useful and can be a lot more useful. So let me just go to. So that was just to showcase that how broken she is. Basically, you use her in any content that has more than one wave, she will excel. And you can spam her skills. It doesn't matter if you have her on AI, because all you really need to do is make sure she has her rotation up, and she will shine. So here we'll go to prep. We go to VR battlegrounds, obviously. So we get our lane, and we get our Leon, our Jiatu, and then we get the Phantom Sisters, cause they can have the plus 50% miss rate up. So I'm just gonna see how this works, okay, guys? Do you increase your speed? Okay, no. So we'll just do HP for now because we don't really need crit. Since Athena is the only one who benefits from having more crit rate, whereas Nyx is kind of just there to be there. So no taunts. Oh, as I say it, son of a cunt. Excuse me for swearing, but seriously, Lilith Games, stop making your fucking game impossible to beat and impossible to do anything unless you have the best stats in the game. Ah, of course, fucking course. I could give one character speed. Actually, I think I'm gonna do that because fuck you, Lilith Games. Seriously, I hate you guys and how you work, and it's not the designers. It's the head of the developers who are doing the finance decisions. It's 100% them. That's the only people I care about. Oh, wait, I just realized. Maybe this is why she's not going first. Because I don't even have. Oh, wait, I should turn this off. Yeah. I don't even have a speedy thing on her. So let me see if I can get speed on her. Okay, well, nada. So yeah, I guess we just give her speed set that my yeah. I mean, we have to do this like the bullshit that the game. So they gave us a formation, so you can do a formation, but they gave us the bullshit where it doesn't save your equipment loadout. So you have to go through unless you have equipment for every character for every situation. You basically have to go through and still change the equipment, and it's literally not going to gain them any money. It's not going to do anything other than increase the quality of the life of the game, and that's why they won't do it because they don't care about us. They just care about the money, and because they don't care about the quality of life stuff. They only care about the money making content. So I'm gonna gripe again, just real quick, 2 minutes max. I swear. Um, like I said again, they released all this new content. The past three updates have just been shit for free to play players. Even the Celestial Anomaly. So past 4 or 5 updates have just been give us more money and we'll give you more content, and especially for late game players, it sucks. Everyone who's new is not experiencing this because they've already fixed the early game. Up to level 60, you are soaring high. You have the best content, you have the best stuff in the game, you're getting enough records and stuff to advance your account. You're good. You didn't deal with any of the early shit that we all did, and you're not dealing with any of the late or beginning of the end game, mid end game that all these players now are dealing with because that's just the game, and even late game. But they have it a little bit better because I mean, some free to play players like have 600 wish stones, and I'm like, but by the next update, and I'm like, well, like it makes sense. Like you have a lot of goddamn wish stones. Like if I had that many, my account would be a lot better. I could just summon away. And people are like, no, we got to save wish stones. Yeah, you can save wish stones, but it's not going to matter because if you keep holding on to those wish stones, essentially they're not being used every single time. So I try and use my wish stones as soon as I can, um, mainly because if I don't, then I don't get the new characters. And so far, every new character has had a purpose, a meta, and has been useful in the new content that has been rolling out. So it's been shown that the game is pay to win because new players are not going to be able to get that advantage. Still, I mean, you're pretty fine. You're fine until 60, and I mean, then like you can grind wish stones. It's still really hard. But yeah, it's not that difficult. And even like before 60, you can get a decent amount of wish stones and get some free new legendary espers. Um, yeah, and all these YouTubers are like, no, don't get these new espers. Just save your wish stones. Doesn't matter. They do so much for your account when you have them though. Like I understand the fact that yeah, you pour your resources into it and it doesn't do anything um in the long term, but just the boost to your account is ridiculous, and that's why it makes it pay to win because you get an esper, a legendary esper, when you have like barely any, your account automatically just becomes so much better. The first 5 espers that you get really sets in stone how it's gonna go. If you get 5 espers that are good, you are basic that work well together. You're basically golden for a while because now you can just get espers, switch them into your team as you like, make different comps, and basically be good. Um, you can do that with epic espers too, but the legendary espers push your account so much better. Unless they're max rezo epics, then they're definitely better than the legendaries until we get to R2, and then the legendaries are better, and then obviously at higher resonances the legendaries have better effects and they're going to be a lot better. Okay, so let me just continue because I continued the rant there for a lot longer than I think. Yeah, it was definitely more than 2 minutes. um I mean, it doesn't really matter. We'll just max out your speed, but no, we'll just give you all the TA stuff because that way I know who it is, who it's on, and I can just give it back. So that's the problem. I have to keep track of who has whose gear and who to give it back to, and it's really goddamn annoying, Lilith Games. So please, just get off your ass and do this one thing for us. You're not gonna give us anything free. Okay, I get it. At least fix the game. make it not overbalanced in your favor so that we have to pay more money just to play the game and advance in any way, shape, or form. Um, and that's true. Like, it's the same thing. I just do the same thing over and over again. And really, it's just me waiting till I get that one specific resonance or Esper that makes my account that much better. That's it. I get a Gaius, my account will be a lot better. And I know I can get. I was able to get him last time, but or last update, but I didn't because I need Leon for Andres. Like if I didn't have Leon, I wouldn't be able to push Andres at all. So they still have more speed, but you know what? Screw you, Lilith games. I did all of that, and now it works. Now the RNG is in my favor. So seriously, financial head. I hope this is a joke. This is a joke. You know, I'm just gonna stop there because whatever I say, I can get. Who gives a shit if I get canceled? You know, like, well, it'll definitely be a detriment to my subscribers and viewers. So maybe that. Okay, so we give him miss rate up. Okay, so now we go check it. So this is everything I wanted to showcase now. Well, no, Athena was everything I wanted to showcase. Now I'm showing you Elaine. So the title, well, this video is just Athena and Elaine, a comprehensive, extensive view and review on how they work in just themselves. So here we go. And I'm redoing this because I did kind of both of them just by themselves and together as well in many videos. But I'm doing them separate now because Leon came out. So, you know, the passive 25% miss rate. Um, the Phantom Sisters, did they come out before? No, I think they came out after. You know, the filters don't matter. There's a release filter where it tells you how they released. Complete bullshit. It's bugged, or the developers don't care, so they half-assed it and it's not accurate. Um, but yeah, okay. So here we'll go. So miss rate 50%. So already 50% miss rate, and they're already going to be missing because now we'll do Leon's. So you don't mitigate full damage when you do miss rate. Just keep that in mind. But now we have a 75% miss rate. Okay. So now we're going to have an 85% miss rate. You ready? And we'll put you to sleep here too. Okay. So didn't miss there. Didn't miss there. Didn't miss there. Didn't miss there. I'm so confused. What the fuck is going on here? Um. Yeah, I guess we'll give you an invincibility. Whatever. I think they're missing, but the shield is just. Oh, okay. There you go. So there was one miss. Really, Lilith games. What is this fucking bullshit? You got to be fucking kidding me. You guys, did you guys see this? Okay, let's redo that. Literally 85 fucking miss rate, and I got one miss. One goddamn miss. Like the bullshit. And of course I'm gonna get taunted when I do this again. Just watch. Just watch the dumbassery that's about to happen. The dumbassery that's about to happen. Oh, they missed there. Well, whoop de fucking do. I get a passive miss. Okay, so we'll try it again. Here, look. So miss rate. 50% on all of them except for this one. So we're not gonna focus really on him. 75% miss rate. Okay. Okay, that didn't matter because he only has a 25% miss rate. Now he'll have 35, but everyone else will have a 85% miss rate. No missing, no missing, no missing. So I'm changing the title of this video. Miss rate is a scam. Miss rate is a scam. 100%. Because they overtune their bosses. Somehow they have more than 100% accuracy because miss rate doesn't matter, resist doesn't matter. They will always find a way, unless you have 100% of everything, and even then, you can still get stunned and miss, which I don't understand how that fucking makes sense. If you have 100% resist, you shouldn't be able to be stunned. You shouldn't be able to be controlled. But then type advantage comes into play, and then you're like, well, it's always in the AI's advantage, but I never get the advantage. And it's bullshit. It just doesn't work. There is something sketchy going on. That's all I'm saying. Because it makes no sense that it works this way half of the time and then some miraculously miracle every time YouTubers are recording or when people are recording, it works the way it's intended. Like half of the time, I will say there's some videos out there where they do show you the negative side, but it's very mundane. It's not this bad. Literally, not a single freaking miss. What the fuck is going on in Lilith games? The just the quality of the game itself has fallen so far, and you can tell because it's just so stupid. Um, Here, let me look. Is there a cap on miss rate in Dislyte? I'm just gonna look that up. Hello, come on. Is there a miss rate cap in Dislyte? Um. Okay, well, I guess you just go to Dislyte wiki. I don't know where else to go. Oh, and it makes it unable to apply debuffs. Oh, that's really good to know. Okay. And then target's chance to miss attack by 50%. Missing decreases the attack's damage by 25%. The thing is, it tells you when they miss. I got one fucking proc. One goddamn proc. 85%. This is why I'm mad. Because they're telling us that they're not allocating other resources to AFK Journey when we've seen them give us updates on Dislyte, photos, and just like generic concepts, and then seen those concepts in that other game. Two, the general overall updates have been really bad. They've just been not good in general. Mostly pay to win content. Like literally mostly pay to win. Some free stuff, but barely. Then um they did these balance updates that were mostly helpful, but they turned one character into basically the one thing that your account, if it has, will be able to do everything basically. Trevor. Trevor is the strongest character in the game. He 100% is. He has the cooldowns. He has massive single target nuke, and like I mean that's pretty much it. But it's the one thing you need as a damage dealer for any content, especially when it's able to do AoE damage or multiple times. It's able to nuke multiple different characters because then becomes speed clearing and boss clearing. So he is just the best Esper in the game, 100%. You get him to your account, you can push anything. It doesn't matter if you don't have any other legendaries. You put him on any epic teams that are max resonances, your team will just be better than any other legendary team that does not have Trevor. That's how insane it is. Maybe if they have a Schwan Pin on their team, they can overdo your team. But if you have Trevor and the enemy team doesn't have Schwan Pin or Trevor, they basically cannot do what you can do. They can do it a little bit, but not as well and as good as your team can do it just because you have Trevor. Simply just because of that one character. Um, and yeah, like you can obviously tell, like there's just been an overall quality decrease, and I don't see the part where there's a cap. Because you can get more. Yeah, it seems like you can get more. Obviously, you can get more crit damage, but I don't know about crit rate. I haven't seen more than 100%. So yeah, I'm very confused. Yeah, and then they have the 1% fucking chance of getting a rare or legendary. It's like, screw that. Like, yeah, it's been here since the beginning, but it was fine at the beginning because you didn't need legendaries. But now that you're at late game, they're essential to content pushing. So now it's become where the early game is less of a money grab and the late game is more of a money grab. So it makes players eventually want to quit. That's all I'm saying. It's the same thing with Mech Arena. They slowly pushed more pay to win content. They didn't listen to their player base. This like you're doing a little bit better, but it's still the same thing I'm seeing, and I'm seeing it in more games and more games. People aren't happy that people are pulling the same scummy business tactics to make more money to take by taking advantage of their players, and it's shown. Like, Mech Arena is dead. People keep trying to support it, and I'm like, the hell's wrong with you? You're supporting a company that likes taking advantage of its players, doesn't listen to its player base, gives games that are pay to win mostly, even Raid Shadow Legends, 100% pay to win. You spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in that game, you will be better than anybody who spends the same amount of time that you it took you to spend that much money in the game. That's how simple it is. And there's caveats to it. Yeah, some people should be able to spend money and go that far, but it's also like, okay, well, it becomes this thing where you're matching us up against the same players, the same people. It's really just based on power, and you're losing because, yeah, you have the same power, but you don't have all the new characters, and you don't have all the maxed out everything maxed out, or at least all the new stuff that has all the best effects. So it comes down to them trying to make money for whoever owns the company and for themselves, mostly for the company because that's what they have to do. They're getting paid to do that, so that's what they have to do. And the developers really have no choice. They can't do anything. And it's not really a message to the developers, it's mostly a message to the people who own the companies. Stop being cunts, stop being jackasses. That's simple. Sorry for swearing, obviously, but it's really that simple. Stop taking advantage of people because you can. It's such a scummy way of living. I don't understand how you live with yourself. Honestly, I would hang myself if I was you. Like, not joking there. I would literally hang myself if I learned that what I was doing was stealing money from people or scamming people or hurting people, like anything that is just detrimenting people more than it should, especially like in this economy. Like, people need money and they need to keep it. Um, so yeah, that's not a joke. I would honestly do that because it would break my heart to learn that all, because like, I would definitely learn later, so I would have spent that money or used it for something, and then I would learn that, oh yeah, this good thing I thought I did, or this good thing I did to myself, like, I've got there, it's dirty money. It's not money that I made through honest means. I took advantage of people, I scanned them, and then what these people do is they get rid of the game. They say, all right, I don't want the game anymore, so they sell it, it dies, and then that's it. They put a temporary CEO. The CEO doesn't know what to do because the game's in shit, because the other CEO just didn't care. He just wanted to make money, and that was it. Otherwise, he'd fire people. So, gaming industry needs to set protocols for people who are like that. They need to set boundaries for CEOs. And yeah, it'll be making the gaming industry a lot harder, but it'll protect everyone and it'll make much more honest companies. That's pretty much like the root of the problem, is those people, the ones who own the companies and have the final say in all financial decision making, because that will eventually be the product of how much they have in development, research, and sorry, not I wasn't looking for the word development. In like artist creation, like basically just making the Esper and new content. They have to get money before they can do that, and they have to get approved. So it all comes down to them. And I think the gaming industry needs to make rules, or the government needs to pass laws where they stop companies from scamming people like this, where they have to adhere to everybody, the general audience. And they're private corporations, so they're not going to be able to be touched. That's just, the government won't do that. But it's really the only way for it to be fixed, because they're private corporations and they're owned by one person. They well, hopefully it's not. Lilith Games seems like I mean, it's created by one person, Dislyte, but the person who owns it seems like it's multiple people, not just one person. So hopefully they go about it better. But yeah, it's just Okay, here's a Reddit thing. So I just wanted to check the miss rate because 85% miss rate, I shouldn't be hit once. Like that should happen once in a blue moon, maybe like one time. And it's stupid that the miss rate doesn't work like this. And you can see that it's all down. It's not a bug. It's the laziness of the developers because they're not getting paid enough. They're only getting paid to do this thing, and they don't have the final say. So they have to do this in order to get paid to do this. Oh, sorry, in order to get paid so that they can continue working there and continue working on the game. And the boss doesn't care as long as he gets the money. It's that simple. I'm not gonna go to this, so whatever, it's fine. So if there's a hard cap on miss rate, then it for sure isn't 50% because that's just bullshit. Um, and then like accuracy comes into a big play. So even if you have miss rate, accuracy just negates it, and then there's no way to negate the accuracy. Really, I mean, miss rate kind of, but it still doesn't matter. Like as you guys saw, miss rate is a scam in this game. It's a scam, 100%. It may work in some cases when characters have like no accuracy, but literally PvP, PvE, everyone's gonna want to have accuracy, especially for their controllers and their damage dealers, just so they can land their hits. So it's not gonna matter. And they're gonna have more speed, more health, more attack, better stats, because that's how they built the game. They built the game to be a paywall generator. So that's how much gacha games are built. But this one is very specific. Like you get to a certain point and then it hits you with the paywall. Whether it's content, whether it's PvP stuff, like it hits you with the paywall. It's like, sorry, you can't progress because you don't have specific espers and you don't have specific residences and you don't have enough speed. That's the one thing. You don't have enough speed. First thing that'll pop up. Sorry, you don't have enough speed, so you're not going to be able to compete with these players because your equipment sucks. And it's not on you. No, no, no. You've been grinding Chronos, you've been grinding APEP, and you've cleared all the way up to floor 16. You've been grinding forever. No, it doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that RNG is a thing and it's going to screw you in the butt every single time. Every single time. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. The quality of the game is degenerating slowly, and they need to release a patch update like within the next week, fixing all the bugs, all the filters. They're just bugged like crazy. Like I mean, I've shown you guys. Um, so let's go home real quick, and then I will end it here because we're at 45 minutes, which is a lot. But yeah, so that's a bug. You know, the miss rate 85 fucking percent miss rate unless you have 100% accuracy, and even if you do, you only have a 20% accuracy after that if you mitigate everything. So you should basically be unable to land hits really unless you're AoE. Like that's how simple it should be, but it's not. Like accuracy plays such a much bigger role, and I don't know why. um and there's no cap on accuracy, so you know, they're like, to hell with miss rate. So miss rate is just sucks right now. Um, and it's a bug. So here's another bug. So we go to espers, and I maxed out some espers, but they weren't there. And sorry, it's not a bug. It's just something that is very weird to me. So I don't know how it works, but it's very interesting to me. When you like a character, like they will appear before like on the filter, even though the filter is talking about level, not likeness. So I don't understand how that works. They will appear after every other character that is liked if they're not liked. So that's the reason why Abigail and Leanne were all the way back here next to this dude, because I didn't like him yet, and he was like in they were in this area basically. And all these characters were ahead of them because, you know, um they're these characters are ahead of him because they are um I just brain farted because they are liked. Sorry, that's basically what I was getting to. And then I do this. So released. So far it looks fine, right? So we're just gonna keep going, right? Right. So here's Sun Wukong, right? One of the first espers released. Here is Koharu. Here is Jinhee, who supposedly have been released before him, which makes no goddamn sense because they were released after him. Then we have Parmi. So it just makes no sense. So maybe it's to do with likeness. So if I go here, so I think you have to like every Esper now. And I don't understand why that works that way. Like it just doesn't. So now we leave and we come back. And it's still unreleased. And yeah, there we go. So now she's here. Was she released before Pan? Really? Actually, yeah, maybe. Pan was released, yeah, around Embla, so and he was like a side tier five. Which is really interesting how they just have secret legendary espers that they work on sometimes and then don't tell us like a few days before the update or on the update we learn. It's really annoying. Okay, so I really just have to like everything. I think that's the problem. So that's not a bug, but the miss rate thing is definitely a bug. And then Chantico, Adrena, the way that the pursuits and everything works, I think is fine, but I think it needs to be fixed because I don't think it's pursuits or assist as much as she should. She should, because right now she deals like nothing. She's basically like a stunner, and she's supposed to be a fighter, so she deals like no damage. Very interesting. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. As always, AOG Gaming here. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. Really shows your support, helps me out, keeps you up to date with my content. 106 subscribers last time I checked, so you guys are amazing. Keep going. And yeah, that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys later.